Hey y'all, Redneck Reads Reddit. Today, little r/malicious compliance. As as I've said before, y'all, I pop these up, read them directly to y'all, pretty much how they're written. If there's cussing and stuff like that, I kind of nix that. Not monetized yet, but if I do get there, I don't want to be demonetized. Y'all know what I'm saying? So, looking at the screen, got the first one pulled up. Y'all, let's see what we can get into. You only want me to work my hours? By 1987, RAF. Bit of a backstory. I was an employee who always turned up to work early, as I hate being late, and just got on with work as soon as I arrived, which was usually 30 minutes before my shift. Never took a lunch break, instead just eating at my desk and working as I was busy all the time. I would often stay late to get the day's work done, otherwise it snowballs into the following day and I can never catch up. I also did a lot of things for people that wasn't technically my job, but I often knew more about the query than the department that was supposed to deal with it. One day I was stuck in traffic due to an accident and I called ahead to let them know I was going to be 5 to 10 minutes late. I got there about 5 minutes late and promptly got on with the already surmountable amount of work. Later that morning, I was called into the manager's office and dressed down as I didn't come and apologizing personally for being late. I explained that I had called ahead and that I'm always early unless it's out of my control and I never take a lunch break. This didn't matter, as that was my choice and I'm expected to be there on time and just do my job. I think we can see where this one's going. That's exactly what I did. Anything that wasn't my job, I asked them to contact the relevant department, as I couldn't help. I sat at my desk and I didn't log on until my start time. I took my lunch and left on time. This caused a lot of issues, as everyone knew to call me anytime during working hours for urgent things. Within a week, managers were having a go at me, as they were having to take calls during their lunch. And I had made this issue as I was too helpful, and now I'm being petty because I got told off. I was looking for another job anyway, but this made me realize I was just a number to the company. I was made to take on a lot of extra work before this incident from my manager. I tried to protest the new workload, as I knew the other department had downplayed how much work it actually was, as I worked closely with them, but was told that it wouldn't take too much extra time in my day and help out the other departments as they were struggling. Notice the irony about being too helpful? Yeah, hoss. I notice. Within a month, I had another job with the company and gleefully moved offices just as the handover work started. Last I heard, there were 5 of them doing my old job plus a supervisor. From a company where you were expected to be grateful for a 500-pound pay raise every other year, this must have been a huge dent in their budget. It's funny how that works, ain't it? Yep, we're going to let you go to work your butt off, but we're going to let you go. Or we're going to tell you that you're too helpful. Then if it continues on, then they'll decide to let you go if you don't find another job. And then they're running around trying to put out 87 fires that you were juggling. And they can't handle 2. Yep. Alrighty, let's... Unlawfully forcing an employee to quit. Let's see what this one's like. Unlawfully forcing an employee to quit. by Gherkin working. Oh, me. Okay, long time lurker here. Thank you all for the great reads, and here is my little morsel of dumb buttery. There's your word, dumb buttery. So this happened a bit more than a year ago. We got a new line manager. Hang on. I got brownies! Can I do this? Let's see if I can do this. What?
You know what?
Let's see if I can eat and read a story at the same time.
Without getting the powdered sugar in your beer.
Oh, there's going to be powdered sugar everywhere. Y'all, at the end of this video, if I look like I've done cocaine, tell me.
And they just come out.
Oh, yes, they just come out. Oh my God, this is so good. This isn't getting edited out. These things are awesome. So, all right, let me try to get back to this. So this happened a bit more than a year ago. We got a new line manager that was brought in as part of making a company more efficient. Oh God, I've lived through this story. By this, it was secretly meant to find a way to boot out highly paid employees and replace them with much cheaper Indian or Eastern European counterparts. Mind you, that I only pieced most of this together after leaving the company. This, of course, was never put publicly or in writing. It just seemed rather odd that a lot of employees started disappearing and within a week or so being replaced with said people. As a previous recruiter, I have never heard of any recruitment process taking a week or less. Anyway, this of course meant my time had come, and I was the next to be made to leave. This was done in a series of steps, firstly demoting me to a help desk position, previously a senior software engineer, and then subsequently giving me warnings for not fulfilling my duties when the first attempt did not work. To give a bit of context, our entire department would from time to time help out with third level help desk stuff. Generally very complex technical issues that support department couldn't handle themselves. Now this in itself was not much of an issue as we were 3 to 4 employees part-timing it, spending about 30 to 40% of our time on this. This is the exact thing that was dumped in my lap as my sole responsibility. Now with some no-brainer math will tell you that this is 90 to 160% work time for one individual. So essentially, not humanly possible. These are also not made up numbers as recorded time spent for performance reviews. This of course inevitably became a stress factor and the root of many hours of overtime, which is also unpaid at this company. I of course went to my new line manager with this issue as there not being enough time, to which I was told to just suck it up and there was no more work than I could handle, and that I in fact was also not doing the work thoroughly enough. To sum up the caseload, we had about 3 to 5 new cases per day that need analysis, threat assessment, possible troubleshooting, and if needed, handover to the appropriate team. This of course prompted me to ask what parts I was not doing good enough, which was apparently the troubleshooting part, which I explained I had to skip on to keep pace, as it being the most costly time-consuming part of the process. Then I improved upon this, only to have a large backlog of cases build up and get reprimanded for this. This went back and forth for a month or two until I got written notice of my dismissal if conditions did not improve, basically entailing me failing to meet any of my contractual workload, not just the previously discussed. Having previously tried and being inebriated by severe stress and keep feeling it creep up on me, as well as this country having little to no discourse to use legal or unions means to solve these kind of things, I went to my doctor. This ended up in me actually getting an exemption from the stressful parts of my job. Now, also basically the only part of my job. And in my line manager now having to scramble to find a solution, as illness does not require notice, as she surely was expecting from me resigning. What resulted in this was bona fide hilarity, as she had to make a shift schedule for the rest of our team, now being a man short, trying to avoid herself getting the terrible duty. Well, what she ended up doing was making a daily rotating schedule for all of us, me included, even though she had written doctor's orders not to. This, of course, resulted in me having to refuse on my shift days, as having her take over for me and doing a crap job and taking off the next member of the schedule. The best part of this is that a few weeks later I was called into the meeting with the whole team where everyone implored me to return to my duties as it was disruptive to their work and created an unnaturally high workload. I stuck to my guns and was later fired on the basis of the written warning with 8 months severance. And the kicker is, they waited just long enough for my severance to get bumped by 2 additional months. It was a great vacation, though, and I could not have been happier to get out of that hole. Oh, and for anyone wondering, yes, I did have a lawyer and 2 union reps involved, and even present at some of the meetings. But in the communist and cold north, you work for the government. The government does not work for you. Hey, you had a doctor's excuse. Deal with it, right? All right, let's see here. I think we can get in one more. All right, here's this one. You're going to call the client and tell them exactly why? Sure thing! By unfocus my chi. My chi is completely focused into this brownie. Oh my god, it's really good. Ladies, find you a man that will love you like I love these brownies. The only thing I love more than these brownies is my kids, my wife. Guys, get your lady that will make you homemade brownies with the powdered sugar on top. God. Okay. Unfocused Machi is who wrote this. Obligatory, all the names are changed and I'm on a mobile disclaimer. Fair enough. I work for a software company that started in the mid-1980s. Since its inception, they've insisted on obtaining a system information sheet for every machine that something gets installed on. They thought it would protect them from people installing on other machines, since they have no other verification system of how many licenses are in use. They also attempt to charge a full hour's rate for the few minutes of time it takes to install one of our software packages. I understand their wariness of us getting stuck doing 150 workstations, but the average number of licenses at a client site is 2. The clients pay a regular maintenance fee for support and product updates, and are usually very angry when they get a new computer, need one of our programs installed, and are told they have to fill out paperwork and still have their IT/group perform the install. It's somewhat difficult and requires knowledge of networking and databases. Okay, I couldn't do it. And it's a frequent case where an IT person will charge them to screw it up. We'll charge them to fix it. It's happened more than once that the IT person or a desperate client trying to do it on their own has messed it up so badly that there was catastrophic, unrecoverable data lost. It's cost us more than a few clients, But the idea that someone might get one over on us by stealing a license is so abhorrent that management remains entrenched in this policy. We ended up spending days going back and forth with clients to get pointless paperwork filled out to avoid doing 3 minutes of work. I'm not exaggerating. The software line I support takes under 5 minutes to install, even with the database/network complexity. And it's our poor receptionist that gets the brunt of it from the clients. No matter how many times our more technically inclined staff bring up things like terminal services, machine imaging, the fact that our passwords are stored in plain text, internet publishing environments, and any number of ways clients can easily get around the per seat licensing restrictions, they're not having it. Sounds like joys to work for. Pardon me. So it happened again yesterday, where a client called in expecting a quick install on her machine, and Erin, the receptionist, had to explain and send over the paperwork. An irate Hannah, the client, called 4 more times over the next couple of days trying to get a different answer. She was eventually escalated to Dan in management, who said he'd come down and speak with us about it. But what he told us was to follow procedure. I tried to discuss it with him, and a few old-timers butted in. Laura from another team yelled loudly that I don't have the authority to change policy, which made Dan cower. Me, why are we spending 2 days and 3 people's time to avoid doing 3 minutes worth of work? Laura, it's not 3 minutes, and it's not your job to ask. It's your job to do what you're told. Is your name on the building? Erin's doing her job. Why aren't you doing yours? Me, talking to Dan. How much time are we wasting doing this? How many times has this policy saved us money? Laura, Sherry caught someone using a license without paying at X town. Michelle found a workstation hiding in an office at Y town. And Ray found an install left on an old workstation in Z town. Silence, with Laura smirking with folded arms, thinking she's won. Me, so 3 times in 30 years. And all the while we've been arguing with clients, filing paperwork, combing through paperwork with someone who wants to move a workstation, moving files between buildings, having people retrieve paper files from archives. Dan, what do you suggest we do? Me, handle installs as part of their maintenance fee. Switch licensing models or develop an automatic licensing restriction method in the software. We look stupid right now, and the clients don't understand why they have to do this. Laura, well, I understand that we don't want people stealing from us perfectly well, and you're going to do your job and call the client and tell them exactly why, and we're going to stand here and listen to you do it. Oh, this should be good. So I have to call the client on speaker so the whole support floor can see me broken and do what I'm told for Laura's entertainment, despite the fact that it's extremely disruptive to anyone who is on a call. Client Hannah explains her frustration with Erin and says she sent the system information sheets back in 2017. I explained that they needed to be filled out for every new workstation and that Erin is just doing her job. Anna asked why a tech company is demanding paperwork for licenses when every other company just has a key or is internet-based. So I told her exactly why. Loudly! While making eye contact with Laura. Because we have technologically inept decision makers insisting on enforcing a time-consuming Cold War-era licensing policy, despite the fact that all the times it's proven useful can be counted on a shop teacher's bad hand. Oh. Edit. We'll add reactions, but I'm sorry for a double cliffhanger, but I just got told I have to go to a meeting. Gee, I wonder what that's about. Edit 2. Okay. So as I said that, the guy across from me burst out laughing so hard that the clients heard it. I looked at him and missed Laura's initial reaction, but by the time I looked back, she actually appeared hurt. Dan was looking at me with wide eyes, his mouth open and shaking his head, then turned and followed Laura. Then I received an email to attend a meeting right before the end of business. At the meeting, a smug-looking Laura was waiting for me in a chair from Dan's desk. Dan, OP, we can't have people deliberately embarrassing other employees in front of everyone. Me, I agree. Laura's attempt to publicly degrade me was in really poor taste and highly unprofessional. Laura, now with mouth agape, vaulting up on the arms of the chair and yelling at Dan, you're not going to do anything about this?
Oh, you ain't even ate it.
Oh, I've been enjoying it. I've been savoring the bites. Because if I eat it, why, did you bring me another one?
No, there's some more in there.
Okay, I thought you brought me another one.
There's half of mine.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm savoring this thing.
Well, here, you want to taste mine?
Is that a yes?
I guess so. JD got a big piece about like what you got.
Oh God.
Well, not
You
quite
gave
that big.
you gave the 9-year-old, or the soon-to-be 9-year-old, a honking piece of brownie, covered in what is powdered sugar, what is basically kitty crack, at this time of night. You know how you told me I had to get the dog in? You had to pull his little butt off the ceiling when he runs up and sticks to it. When he goes Spider-Man.
It wasn't quite that big.
You know I'm recording, right?
Yes, I know. I don't give a shit. I stopped myself.
Yeah, you stopped yourself.
It was probably about like that.
Okay, about half the size of mine.
About half, but it was that length.
Okay, about
But
half
it
the size.
wasn't that big, though.
Okay, well, still, you're pulling him off the ceiling if he goes full Spider-Man.
No,
Anyway, y'all, that's where well, okay, Laura screamed at Dan. And Dan, exhaling with puff cheeks and resting his hand on one hand, avoiding eye contact. We can't be embarrassing each other here. We have to work together. We all have to do our jobs. Thanks, guys. And I walked out. OP. And focus my chi. I think you got her chi twisted up in her drawers, man. Oh my God, that was great. All right, y'all. Yeah, it's been Redneck Reads Reddit. Yeah, I'm titling this one, you're going to call the client and tell them exactly why. Sure thing. Y'all, if you like this, share, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the little bell if you like what I'm doing. Yeah, this is this one is great. Take it easy, y'all. Have a blessed one.